This is Daniel Eli, reincarnated biblical prophet, incarnate angel, author of finalbookofdaniel.com and timeprophet2012.com. This video is basically entitled, roughly, New Age Spirituality, Awareness, Growth, New Age, basically anything about God, spirituality, growth, meditative, prayer, Bible, anything you want to know about 2012 New Age spirituality. We discuss it here. This is video number 4, part of a 5-part series. So enjoy the video. Here we go. Start now.
Vortex is the most ultimate place to be in of happiness. It's just the place, the greatest place. That's why I call it the vortex of love, because what else would be in there that's of greatness?
I apologize to anyone I may have offended, but I tried listening very carefully to what he was saying. Reggie loves you here, and a lot of it simply didn't make sense. Now he's see, the thing is, I have to get rid of him here because I'm trying to make a quality production here. No offense to him, I know he's a nice guy and he means well. Okay, that's, I could have red dotted him, but I bounced him anyway. But see, he's going on and on. He's talking about all these weird concepts that don't make any logical sense when you listen to him. So I have to pay attention here to what I'm recording. He's rambling on too much about nonsense, and he's just going on. And no one's going to listen to that stuff. They're simply not going to do it. So he's welcome back another time, but not right now. I can't do it right now.
I liked what he was saying. I think it was a part of being spiritual as well. Just, I don't know. I think sometimes it would go off track and go on to something that was away from the object that you're trying to do here. But I have a question for whoever's in the room listening who wants to answer. What's your ideas of spiritualness? Is it God or is it something else? What's your description?
I don't know, maybe just finding your true self, like spirituality, then you come to spirit, and then spirit, what's the greatest thing of your spirit is when you actually like your true self, so just finding yourself and figuring out about everything that you'll go through and you'll see in life.
So, do you guys know where the location of spiritualness is? Do you think it's inside us? Is it in our mind? Is it something external that comes into us? What's your ideas of it?
You know something, Zaddy? Before you said that, about 5 seconds before, I asked in my mind the exact same question because I knew you were going to ask that. Somehow I precognitively knew you were precisely going to answer that, or ask that question. Well, see, our soul or our spirit, some people argue that there's two different things, right? Like soul is different than the spirit. Spirit is what leaves your body after death, and your soul is what your character is, right? Well, our spirit is basically omnipresent, but at the same time, like we're superimposed. We're conglomerations of spirits and matter, right? Now, the spirit is superimposed upon the physical body, and the aura, is different for different people, but see, in a spiritual master, the aura can extend for miles, right? But in a very spiritually weak, someone who's going through a weak period or something, it can only extend like a foot or something, right? Like very weakly, and their influence is not that strong. But you've seen strong people, right? Like who command an audience, like Martin Luther King maybe, or the president or something like that. Like just their omnipresence, right? The fact that they walk into a room, it's like everyone can perceive, like, oh my God, he's here, he's here.
So then where do you think it's located?
Well,
Well, here's the thing. In the third dimension, the one that we live in here, there's the illusion of time and space. Space. See, God's spirit is omnipresent. It's everywhere. It permeates all of time and all of space. It's in the sun. It's in you. It's in the earth. It's above the earth. It's in the clouds. And some more, more places than others, of course. Like, God is more in the sun than he is on the moon, right? But God is on the moon too. It's just that he's more in the sun. And, Son of God, Son, S-U-N-S-O-N. But see, our basic divine nature is omnipresent. And once you come into this realization of omnipresence, you can say to yourself, the great I am. You start saying, I am here. Then you look up at the sun and you say, I am there. I am here, I am there, I am everywhere present. So while you're walking the street, try that. Give that a try even right now while you're sitting there. Say to yourself, like, your presence, your great I am presence. Imagine yourself being in the other room next to you, in the bathroom or the kitchen or something, and you say to yourself, you close your eyes and you picture yourself in the kitchen, and you say, I am here, I am there in the kitchen, I am here, I am there, I am everywhere present. And everywhere you've been today, say, I was there, I am here, but I was there, I am everywhere present, right? You were there in the realms of time and space in the yesterday, but you, in reality, have been everywhere.
Well, what about, example, here's me and there's my computer in front of me, and instead of seeing myself as a separate individual from everything else, the space between me and my computer is filled with life. Even though we can't see it and we call it space, and we think there's nothing between me and the computer, everything is between me and the computer is full of life. And the space that's between me and the computer is touching my flesh. It is touching my clothing is touching my flesh, everything is connected. So then I ask myself, well, is there really such a thing as separateness? On my own spiritual journey in life, am I really that separate from everything that is external? Or am I a part of everything that is existing, and everything that is existing is actually me? The computer is me and mine. It is a part of my whole experience. It's not really separate from my body. It's a different type of matter. But the matter that's in between, the space between me and my computer, is a different type of matter, and it's still all connected. So everything on this planet is actually all of it. We're all connected, all of us. And it makes me feel that this is why people can sense one another. It's why people can feel or know what the other person is thinking or feeling. And they could be all the way on the other side of the planet, and we'll know when our loved one's hurt or ill. We'll feel it, we'll sense it. How do we have that ability? And I feel it's because there really is no separateness. Just because our eyes can't see the particles that are in between me and the computer that's filled with life, doesn't really mean that I'm actually separate from everything. I don't know if that really makes sense, but anybody want to add to that?
Well, yes, because everything's just, God is everything and he created everything, so therefore everything's connected through that. So, pretty much God is like infinite everything, or infinite energy, and since energy makes up everything, and energy is everywhere, everything's all interconnected through that, and that's kind of like what it says, the spirit, you know, like the spirit might be God living in all of us, and then the soul might be the frequency of how we're different to everyone else, our own individualness. We all resonate at a different frequency and have different traits and personality.
Well, when you look at our body, and it vibrates at all different frequencies, our human body itself, the bioelectrical makeup of a human body itself is so intricate and so powerful. It's full of electricity. Those waves that gets transmitted across the globe just from our mere thoughts, our mere feelings, there in itself tells me that I'm more than just the body. So then maybe the spiritualness of ourselves is actually nothing to do with matter, but has everything to do in the non-physical world.
Yeah, I want to talk about, okay, there's like someone coming across the spiritual path for the first time. Some of them may have come across like demonic entities, right, or negative spiritual attacks, like a psychic spiritual attack. And they may be afraid, right? They don't know what's happening to them. They've never heard of this before, and maybe they weren't ever into religion. Suddenly they have some sort of wild experience, and they like maybe they run to a priest or they don't know where to run. What would you recommend to someone? Your own personal viewpoints here, like what would you tell them?
I think I'd tell them, don't know, but I would be very intrigued and interested with an individual that's having that experience, Daniel. I'm such a nosy Parker, I need to know things, so I would chat to the person and have them share to me their experience at what's going on in their lives. I've actually never personally met a person who's had that experience, but if I did, I would want to know everything. And then I would probably start to analyze it and wonder, why is this person having that experience? Is there a battle going on within themselves that they're doing this to themselves? Or is there actually a separate entity that is outside of ourselves that can enter into us and take over? That I don't know the answer to, simply because I've never experienced it. But I'd be very intrigued to talk to a person who was.
Well, from personal experience, I thought one day that in my head a demon or a demonic spirit was trying to possess me. I don't know, like I was hearing a voice in my head, and all I did was stay strong, and I turned to God, and pretty much I was fine, you know, just putting my faith in God and like asking him, like, just get rid of it. I don't know, I was just being strong, like not letting just listening to God, you know, what God's got to say, and not listening to what this demonic spirit was trying to say.
See, how does a person know if it's actually an entity from external coming into the body and taking over? Or is it a person who could be mentally ill that is hearing voices, but then again, what is that? Why do we have to call them mentally ill? Maybe there's actually something going on. Maybe we can have many entities come inside us and lay their thoughts and their voices in our heads. I don't know personally, but it makes me wonder the different types of human beings we have out there and how much of it is real, like really another entity is doing this to the individual, or how much of it is our wires in our brains are a little messed up and fuzzy and are sending us all kinds of weird things, kind of like when a video's got a crack in it somewhere, it'll repeat and play the thing over and over and over again, and I'm not touching it. I wonder if the brain itself can sometimes be, have a faulty wire somewhere in our circuits and create false hearings in our minds or false things.
Well, that's a good point, but I think the ability to conjure up spirits and all this kind of magic, it's ancient wisdom, all the way dates back to times in Egypt, and secret societies throughout time kept this knowledge hidden and had these powers and made it all taboo and made people not believe in it, so that way they can harness the powers themselves and have an extra hand up on everyone else.
Well, I will tell you briefly, I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but I had what is called like a spiritual attack. That's what I called it, at least. Now, it could have been like probably the most devastating demonic attack that's ever happened to me. It lasted 3 full days. I couldn't eat or sleep the whole time. I had to manually control my breath the whole time. My heart was racing at 200 beats a minute. I couldn't stand up. I was paralyzed on the bed. I fell down on the floor in my bedroom. I couldn't get up. It was the most horrible, and it wasn't a physical illness, right? I was not physically sick. This was all spiritual.
See, how do you know the difference though? Like when you, the human being, is having an experience, that in itself becomes a physical experience. So how do you separate the spiritual experience from being physical?
Well, there's cause and effect, right? I didn't just suddenly get physically ill, just as, like getting sick, like from eating food or something like that, right? Because I was sitting there, I'll tell you what, like, because you intuitively know, right? I intuitively know. That's it.
Okay, so I'm interested. What happened to you? What took place? What did this thing do, and how did you get rid of it?
I was actually talking, but somehow you talked over me. I don't know. I was actually in the middle of saying something here. Maybe it's not keying up properly or something. I don't know.
To me it says you've keyed off. I don't know what that's about. I'm not stepping on you. I'm only keying up when it looks like you're off the mic. Did you see the bulletin that went in the room? There's an alert security bulletin in the room. Has that got something to do with it?
might as well cut the video short then.